How's it going, Webheads? My name is Ryan Walsh. So the brand new X-Men Dark Phoenix trailer just debuted, and there were a ton of Easter eggs within the trailer, and I'm going to be going through this trailer, breaking down the whole thing and finding all of the Easter eggs. So without wasting any more time, let's get into it. The trailer starts out with a young Jean Grey meeting a younger Professor X, a lot like what they did with X-Men The Last Stand. Now this is going to be based off the same storyline, the Dark Phoenix saga, but X-Men The Last Stand barely did anything from the actual X-Men Dark Phoenix saga, so this movie is probably going to be a better representation of that storyline within the comic books. And the only difference between this scene and the one from X-Men The Last Stand is that Professor X was able to walk in that movie, and he was with Magneto, and they actually went to Jean Grey's house, not the X-Mansion. Now, you may be able to notice the music in the background of this trailer too. This is a song called The End, and it's a classic track by the band called The Doors, and I think this is really just kind of calling out the entire Disney and Fox deal and how this is going to be the last X-Men movie ever made by Fox if the Disney and Fox deal completely goes through. So they're really just saying that this is going to be the last one. This is the end of the X-Men franchise for Fox, and now we're going to be seeing Disney taking over the reins for the X-Men. In this scene, we can see Jean getting analyzed by Beast, and it looks like this is going to be happening when the movie already has Jean getting her powers and she already goes up into space and gets hit by the Phoenix Force, because we know that's going to happen. And this is Beast just analyzing what is in her body and why is she even more powerful than she is before. Within the next scene, you can see a flashback of the younger Jean Grey, and she's in a car with her parents, it looks like, and then all of a sudden she starts using her powers, and then the car completely crashes into another one. Then we are left to believe that her parents are dead. And it's really weird within one of these scenes because we can see Jean Grey mid-motion of this crash, and right in front of her face is all of the glass. And it looks like she's making the glass float right in front of her and prevent anything from hitting her that would kill her. Also, you can hear Mystique and Professor X in the background talking, and Professor X is saying that he had to protect Jean, and we're really wondering why, but because this scene follows the scene of the car crash, it looks like that he wiped her mind completely so she wouldn't have to deal with the trauma of her killing her parents. And honestly, I have a feeling that's not going to work out for Professor X at all. Now, this is where the trailer gets really cool, because the next shot that we're going to be getting, it's kind of showing that we're going to be getting Genosha in this movie, where Magneto goes off and he creates an entire island just for mutant kind alone, so they're free from humanity and they don't have to deal with any of the humans on Earth. Of course, it's Magneto, so he does use these mutants sometimes to wage war on the humans, but most of the time it's really just to keep the peace within Genosha. And it's really weird looking at this Genosha because it looks really run down and completely new. This must have been just started, because in the comic books, Genosha is completely futuristic. We get our first look at Magneto in the trailer, and Jean is now joining with Magneto, it looks like. And the reason is because of that scene that I was talking about before, where Professor X said that he basically wiped her memory. He was lying to Jean Grey, so she goes to Magneto for answers because he's creating this whole Genosha place, and this is a place for mutants, so she probably feels well protected there. After this, we get our first look at Jessica Chastain within the movie, which her character is rumored to be Lilandra from the Shi'ar Empire. And even the synopsis of the X-Men movie is saying that there is going to be an alien force within this movie that is going to try to take Jean Grey, the Phoenix Force within her, and use it as a weapon. The Shi'ar Empire would be the perfect alien species to do this, because now that the Skrulls are going to be within Captain Marvel, the Shi'ar Empire is really the only other big alien race that the X-Men have the rights to that they can use within their movies. And Lilandra is well known in the comic books to have a relationship with Professor X, so I wouldn't be surprised if we got to see a couple scenes with both of them in this trailer. Skipping ahead a little bit, we can see the X-Men in full costume, and they're wearing the costumes from the early 2000s, which first debuted in the new X-Men number 114. And I gotta say, I love the costumes. I really like the different ones, other than just all the black uniforms that we always saw, where it's always just black and it just has an X on it. I think these ones are a lot cooler because mainly they're from the comic books. We can also see Jean starting to unleash her Phoenix powers and how everybody should fear her because she's incredibly powerful. And she's unleashing her powers not only on the X-Men, but also she's unleashing it on the police and the army. And I wouldn't be surprised if we got an appearance from Colonel Stryker in this movie, because he's always within these X-Men movies, and that would probably be the big reason why the army is going to be within this movie. Now, I do have to mention within this next scene that when we see the X-Men's Blackbird going into space This is going to happen at the beginning of the movie. When the X-Men are going to space, they're really just going on a mission, and then all of a sudden something goes wrong where Jean Grey gets hit by this cosmic force that nobody knows what it is, but that is going to be the Phoenix Force that gives her the Phoenix powers. And over the course of the movie, it's going to slowly take control of her body. Where Jean is not killing people, it's really just the Phoenix Force. After this, we get a bunch of solemn looks from all the X-Men, and we even see a scene with Beast and Professor X sitting at a table. Beast is telling Professor X it's all his fault. But what is he really referring to? We can even see Beast later in the trailer teaming up with Magneto and two new mutants who are going to be Red Lotus and Selene. Red Lotus is a master martial artist within the comic books, and Selene is a telepath that is immortal. So both of them are probably going to be extremely powerful, and Magneto is probably making another team for the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants like he always does in the movies. Then we see a funeral scene with Nightcrawler, Storm, Cyclops, Beast, and Professor X standing around it. Now, the only two X-Men that aren't present here, other than Jean Grey, are Mystique and Quicksilver. Now, did they both die in that battle between Jean Grey and the X-Men? I have a feeling that one of them definitely did die. Quicksilver probably didn't die because he's a fan favorite, and they probably made him go to Genosha to confront his father, Magneto. Finally, we get to see that. And then I think Mystique is going to be the one ending up dying. And that would make a lot of sense because that would cause Beast to change sides to Magneto's side. And even farther in the trailer, we get to see a shot of Beast crying, holding Mystique. So obviously, Mystique's probably going to be dying in this movie. And then the last shot showing Jean Grey getting slowly taken over by the Phoenix Force, which I am extremely excited to see. I think the trailer looks pretty good. I don't think it was amazing, but I thought it was a pretty good trailer. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think of the trailer, Webheads. If you're new here and you want more trailer Easter egg breakdowns, definitely consider subscribing and turning on the bell notification. But Webheads, thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.